Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Earlier this year, April 2nd, 2016, I put out this video saying why the Cubs would win the World Series in 2016 in scripted fashion. And in this video, I said in part it would be a tribute to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton to be the 45th president, the president to follow Obama. Obama with the Chicago ties, Hillary Clinton, born in Chicago, Illinois, and has said she's a Cubs fan. So, what I'm going to show you in this video is how Game 7, the deciding game of the World Series, was a major tribute to Hillary Clinton in the upcoming election. Also, in this video, from April 2nd, 2016, I talked about how the world of professional sports is full of ritual, occult sacrifice. I proved this in the time of the Super Bowl last year, which I predicted in November what it would be. I showed this in the time of the World Series last year, which had the Mets in it, and the Royals. I predicted in spring training the year prior the Mets would be in the World Series. I showed it during the time of the NBA Finals this year, this past June, won by the Cavs. Anyhow, in this video that I made, April 2nd, I said, my goal is to spread this knowledge so people can see how awful these sports are. Not only are they rigged and scripted, deceiving the fans, but people are truly being murdered as tributes to these championships. I'm going to show you how Bill Murray himself, his mother was murdered as part of this ritual. No doubt he was aware of it. No doubt that is the reason we saw so much of Bill Murray from the White House briefing where he told everybody the Cubs would break the curse, go to the World Series. This was their year. He did that on the 21st day of October, the day before the Cubs advanced to the World Series. Anyhow, his mother, we're going to talk more about her death. She died November 2nd, 1988, 28 years to the day the Cubs won in Game 7. Not a coincidence, the 112th World Series, November 2nd. I myself, more than 2 months ago, when the schedule came out, said, watch, the Cubs are going to win it in Game 7 on 11/2. Special number to the Zionists. I said all of this in the video. Here in this part of the video, I just got done talking about the synagogue of Satan, the Zionists, how Chicago's a Zionist Mecca, how Zionist equals 112. It's the 112th World Series. Truth seeker, I have exposed what the sickness is of this world, and all of you who are awake need to do more to help me share this knowledge. There's no reason now that this information isn't viral with the masses. Also in this video, I'm going to show you how the World Series was a tribute to Theo Epstein, the manager of the Cubs, and also formerly the Red Sox, where he broke the 86-year curse. We're going to talk more about that. I'm going to show you why Ben Zobrist was the MVP who played for the Royals who won the World Series last year. I'm going to show you so much in this video. Stay tuned for all of it. Real quick, though, I just want to show you this clip about what I said about Donald Trump, this rigged World Series, and the election. I said this on April 2nd, 2016. We're going to end up watching another video of Donald Trump in just a moment. Just listen to what I said. My points are validated, and I'm going to prove it more as we go on through this video.
The family that owns the Cub, Ricketts, a name with 33 gematria. We saw Donald Trump, this, stooge actor on the campaign trail saying he has all this dirt he could drop on the family that owns the Cubs. These billionaires, they probably all know what a big rig joke it is. And he probably knows that the Cubs have a scripted World Series coming for him.
So I'll link this entire video down in the description. There's a lot of things I talk about in this video, but I'm going to show you this election or this World Series, a major tribute to the rigged election. Your sports are scripted, your history is scripted, your elections are scripted. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, they knew they were going to be playing these parts many years ago. I assure you that. So anyway, Game 7, the final score was 8-7 in the 10th inning. We'll talk more about why the 10th inning. But look, the name Clinton in gematria sums to 87. Cleveland's the reflection, 78, where Game 7 was won. Bill Clinton was the 42nd president. Hillary is to be the 45th. 42 plus 45 equals 87. Special number to the Clintons. And as a reminder, neither Bill nor Hillary were born with the name Clinton. Bill was born with the last name Blythe, his biological father a Blythe. His biological father died, his mother remarried into the Clinton family. And who are the Clintons? They are a political dynasty dating back to the founding of this country. They were the original governors of New York, original founders. The fourth vice president was George Clinton, vice president to Madison. Neither Bill nor Hillary are Clintons. They are puppets for this family that governs from behind the shadows, like so many of these Zionist Jew families do. Here was CNN's headline. As soon as the game was over, I flipped over to CNN to see what they had up. They always have a coded headline for the championships. Just boom, right away. 108-year drought over. In my preview video, I said why it was going to end with 108. Major League 108, 108 stitches on a baseball. It's over equals 108, a phrase used all NBA season. We saw the NBA season paralleled the baseball season. During the time of the NBA playoffs, the Cleveland Cavaliers were playing the same teams the Cleveland Indians were playing with the same win streak. Lo and behold, the Cleveland Indians go to the World Series. Remember, first game of the World Series on a date with 71 numerology in Cleveland, the same day the 71st season of the NBA began, when it had been 71 years since the Cubs were in the World Series, you know? What are the odds? It's all scripted. Anyway, 108-year drought over in Gematria sums to 85. The divisors of 85 sum to 108. As I did videos throughout the World Series, I showed how 85 came out, how it connected to 108, how it's significant to Chicago sports history. National Football League equals 85. The birthplace of the NFL is Chicago. Chicago Bears last won the Super Bowl at the end of the 85 season, not by coincidence. The last year that a team came back from 3-1 was 85, you know? And then the Cubs do it to break the 108-year drought with 8 runs in the 10th inning, 10-8 on the stat sheet, you know, 10th inning and then an 8 in the score column. Hillary in Gematria also sums to 85, no doubt part of the tribute. So as a reminder, in 1997, the Cleveland Indians lost in Game 7 of the World Series to the Marlins. The Marlins defeated the Cubs in the 2003 NLCS with the Steve Bartman incident. When the Indians lost in 97, they lost on Hillary's 50th birthday. Her birthday is October 26th. This year, the Cubs got their first win against the Indians in the World Series on October 26th. I previewed that game. I said why I expected the Cubs to win on Hillary's birthday. Sure enough, it happened. That was Hillary's 50th birthday. America equals 50. 50 states. At the beginning of these playoffs, I said why I thought the World Series would be Cubs and Indians. In spring training, I thought it would be Cubs and Houston because Houston equals 112. It ended up being Cubs and Indians at the beginning of the playoffs. When I reevaluated, I said, okay, Cubs and Indians make sense because I seem to see a major narrative for what's going on through the movie Major League. I turned on the movie Major League to see if there was anything there. If you've never seen it, it came out in 1989, 27 years ago. MLB equals 27, Major League Baseball. Each team in a complete baseball game gets 27 outs. 27 plus 27 is 54. Oh, by the way, in this World Series, it was the first time since 1948. That's the year the Indians last won. It happened again this year in 2016. First year, both teams' total runs scored for the entire World Series was 27-27. Sum of 54. MLB 27, baseball 54. And I predicted that Chapman would get the save or the win in Game 7, which also happened. He didn't have a good performance, but because of his performance, he got the win, number 54, to win Game 7. So anyway, in Major League, which came out 27 years ago, it begins with how the former owner, Donald, is gone, and now a woman is taking over. Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, tributes in the election. Remember, Cleveland had the GOP convention this year with Donald Trump for the presidency. If you missed the video, I pointed out a lot of things. The coach wears the number 34. Indians equals 34. The co-assistant wears 16. We're talking about 2016. Charlie Sheen throughout the movie wears the number 99. Illinois equals 99. Tell you something real quick. Chicago equals 46, and the Cubs this year began their series against Houston on September 9th, 9-9, 46 days before the World Series began. 99 Illinois, Chicago 46. Coming into this World Series, the Cubs and Indians had played each other 18 times. They were 9-9 against each other. 9-9. Illinois 99. The word baseball, the small way, sums to 18, the big way 54. Watch my how-to gematria video to learn these very simple skills. So anyway, this is from, well, I just put this post back up here to remind people, but I also wrote about this in March. Donald Trump was threatening the Ricketts family to bring out secrets that they were hiding. And I thought for sure at this time, if you go back to my blog also in March, that's when I wrote my first post about why the Cubs would win the World Series this year. It was something I was talking about in my videos last year. I said we might see the Cubs win the World Series next year. That was this year. And by the time the season was about to roll around, I'd connected a lot of dots, just too much lined up for Chicago not to win. So anyway, Donald Trump in March, in spring training, threatening the Ricketts family. I want to remind you guys something about Donald Trump. I'm going to minimize myself here. We're just going to give Donald Trump the full screen. As I've been saying for more than a year, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are nothing more than puppets for these Zionist Jews. Donald Trump is running as a stooge to make Hillary passable. Nobody in this country wants Hillary, supports Hillary. She's going to be the president. And when she's the president, people will say, well, they must have voted because they really didn't want Donald Trump. So let's listen to what Donald Trump had to say about Hillary and Bill Clinton in 2008, and then you tell me this man's not a puppet, an actor, just running, playing a part. Nobody's worldviews can change this much from 2008 to the present. Here we go.
Well, I think her history is far from being over. I'd like to answer that question in another 15 years from now. I think she's going to go down.
So real quick, he's saying, I'd like to answer that question 15 years from now. This is November 12th, 2008. 15 years is 2023, 2023. We're going to be talking about 223 a lot as this video moves on. Let's finish listening to Donald give praise to Hillary and Bill.
At a minimum, as a great senator, I think she is a great wife to a president. And I think Bill Clinton was a great president. You know, you look at the country then. The economy was doing great. Look at what happened during the Clinton years. I mean, we had no war. The economy was doing great. Everybody was happy. A lot of people hated him because they were jealous as hell. You know, people get jealous and they hate you. People don't like him because they're jealous of him. But Bill Clinton was a great president. I mean, I hope we can be so lucky in terms of the economy and in terms of other aspects. I mean, we weren't in wars with two nations. I'm not blaming Afghanistan, by the way, is probably a place that we should be. Iraq, we shouldn't be, and we should have never been. You know, Iraq is interesting because in Iraq, Saddam Hussein used to kill terrorists. He used to kill terrorists. Now Iraq is the breeding ground for terrorists. That's where everyone goes. You know, like some people go to Harvard, some people go to the Wharton School of Finance. If you're a terrorist, you go to Iraq. So, you know, we just made some bad decisions. Bill Clinton was a great president. Hillary Clinton is a great woman and a good woman.
You said of Hillary Clinton that she was, quote, pretty badly abused during her presidential campaign. Why did you say that?
I thought that they roughed her up pretty good. I think she's a wonderful woman. I think that she's a little bit misunderstood. You know, Hillary's a very smart woman, very tough woman. That's fine. She's also a very nice person. And I know Hillary, and I know her husband very well. They're fine people. I thought, and, you know, part of that is a rough political battle. I thought she was roughed up. I thought she, and I'm not knocking the other side. You know, you want to win a battle, so if it gets a little bit nasty, it is politics, and politics is a tough game. But I thought she was perhaps unnecessarily roughed up. She took some pretty hard hits, to my opinion.
All right, so thank you, Mitchell Wiggs.
Well, I think her history
I'll
is
link
far
to this
from
guy's channel since I used his video. Great upload. Donald Trump 2008. I mean, if you don't think he's an actor stooge, I mean, what do you think you just watched there? So now let's transition to Theo Epstein. Theo Epstein. I couldn't believe this when I saw ESPN put up this stat after the World Series. It just made me die laughing. You know, I don't know, I say it so many times, I don't know how my work has critics. If you just watch one of my videos and then go turn on ESPN, any day of the week, any hour of the day, my work is going to be validated within 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, you're going to see the numbers on the screen that I'm talking about that they're programming all the time. You know, I'm here talking about 93 and every sports championship. I was talking about how relevant it was to this past MLB season. In that preview video, I talked about 93. Look at what they show us here. In 2002, when Theo Epstein inherited the cursed Red Sox, they were 93 and 69 the year prior. They had 7 All-Stars. When he inherited the Cubs, and the argument, they weren't trying to show these numbers off for any reason. They were just explaining when he got this Cubs team, they were a lot worse than that Red Sox team. So, wow, what an impressive job he really did with the Cubs. Well, anyway, just look at the Cubs record, 71 and 91. Again, it had been 71 years since the Cubs were in the World Series, and also this 7 All-Stars to 1, 7-1. We're going to go over every single number here on the screen. 93, 69, 71, 91. Chicago Cubs in gematria sums to 91. 91 Chicago Cubs. Just like Game 7 sums to 91. When you count 1 through 13, it also totals 91. It had been 13 years since the Steve Bartman incident with the Cubs, 2003, the year after this as well. With regards to 93, that's the number for Saturn, the keeper of time. Saturn equals 93. They tell us in science the sun is 93 million miles away, which is truly the keeper of time. This year, the MLB season began on April 3rd, which is typically the 93rd day of the year. The Cubs became the first team to clinch the playoffs with their 93rd win this season. Cubs in Game 6 won 9-3. Before that game, I said how 93 was the number on the game. It was coming 93 days after the Marlins pitcher Fernandez. 93 days after his last birthday. Fernandez equals 93. Cubs, Indians, both having history with the Marlins. '93 and 69 is what the Red Sox were that year. Massachusetts in gematria sums to 69. Then again, with the Cubs, who he inherited with 71 and 91 records, it had been 71 years since they were in a World Series. The World Series began on October 25th, 2016, a date with 71 numerology. Again, the 71st season of the NBA began that day. There were all sorts of 71 tributes throughout the World Series. It ended in Ohio, the 17th state, the reflection of 71. They said there was a 17-minute rain delay. I don't even want to get into that, Truth Seeker. These people are mad that rule over us. And again, in case you're new here, in every baseball season, there's 162 games played. Major League Baseball equals 162, like the length of the schedule. Major League alone's 108, like the 108 double stitches on a baseball, like Willis Tower being 108 stories tall. Willis Tower in gematria sums to 57, just like World Series. In my Game 7 preview video, I said how Willis Tower in the movies foretold it, saying why the Cubs would win. Showed the significance of the date Sears Tower changed its name to Willis Tower in regards to what Game 7 fell on. All scripted. So now here's Theo Epstein. In looking at where Theo Epstein went to school, I figured out what was going on with the Texas Rangers earlier this year, who had that major tribute, the retirements of A-Rod, Fielder, Prince Fielder, and Mark Teixeira. Theo Epstein went to Yale, and I have no doubt that this man is connected to Skull and Bones, the Masonic order that puts people in high places, from the presidential office to CEOs. Remember, George W. Bush former owner of the Rangers, member of Skull and Bones. Look at this. Theo Epstein's 43rd birthday is approaching. 43. Remember, it's 43 is approaching. I'm going to get to what Yale and Skull and Bones and 43 have to do with each other. From his birthday to the date that the Cubs won the World Series, 57 days. Again, World Series equals 57. Willis Tower, 57. Last year in 2015, 57 days after the World Series ended, Dave Henderson, former baseball player, dropped dead at age 57. Henderson and Gematria equals 57. The last team he played for were the Royals, who won the World Series last year. Last year's Royals World Series was a tribute to the royal family, Prince Charles of Wales. See the work I did on it? This year, big tribute to Hillary Clinton, who earlier this year, I showed how she was connected to the royal family by the numbers. Margaret Thatcher, dead at 87. Hillary Clinton, 87. Cubs win 8-7. So anyway, Theo Epstein wins World Series Game 7, 57 days before his birthday. His birthday is going to be his 43rd. Now here's what you need to know. When you write out 42, his current age, it sums to 43. Interesting that 42 is a number stamped all over black people throughout history as well. And Obama, he's the 44th president, but he's the 43rd person to be president. Obama's number 43 in terms of person, because Grover Cleveland had a split term. He was the 22nd president and the 24th. So when the 25th president came, they were the 24th person to be president, but the 25th president, and it's buttoned off ever since. Obama gave his acceptance speech in Grant Park. Grant Park equals 43. He was elected November 4th, 2008, a date with 43 numerology, 11/4. We're in the time of the 114th Congress right now. The Cubs' win this year was their 114th win of the season, regular season and playoffs, 103 in the regular season, 11 in the playoffs. Anyway, Obama elected on a 43 date, 43rd person to be president. He gave his acceptance speech in Grant Park. Grant Park equals 43. He's from the land of Lincoln. Lincoln born on the 43rd day of the year. Civil War 43. Charleston 43, where the Civil War began. All throughout history, things have been scripted by certain numbers in certain ways. Some of these numbers have a lot of significance. 43 is one of these numbers. The word champion equals 43. So does Yale. The Bush family is from New Haven, Connecticut, where Yale is. George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush, his father, are members of Skull and Bones, and they've both been presidents. His father was the 43rd vice president. George W. Bush was the 43rd president. And Jeb Bush, the brother, was the 43rd governor. He was governor there when Bush was elected 43rd president. Yale 43, New Haven, Connecticut 43. The Bushes owned the Rangers. The Rangers got a big tribute this year. Seems it was all pointing back to the Yale man, Theo Epstein. See how this works? It's all rituals and the numbers between these gang members. I also pointed out earlier this year that the College World Series was scripted in a tribute for the World Series to come. Coastal Carolina equals 54, like Chanticleer's their name, like baseball, put it together, Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, the full name 108, like what the Cubs drought was. In that College World Series, I pointed out how the game times were 2 hours, 23 minutes, 3 hours, 22 minutes. The number for Skull and Bones is 322. Again, same network, running it all, running government, media, sports, entertainment, education. You know, it's not hard to corrupt a college athlete. Theo Epstein, his birthday date was 61, life lesson number. That's the 18th prime, baseball 18. He's going down as a baseball legend. Date with 114 numerology. Again, the Cubs win at the end of the 114th Congress with their 114th game. Also a date with 41 numerology, the 13th prime number. His full name in Gematria, Theo Nathaniel Epstein, sums to 94. I didn't realize this. I've been pointing out how huge the number 94 has been for the Cubs season, and I said why they would win Game 7 on November 2nd based on this number. The Cubs this year, well, let's start with the beginning of the season. The beginning of the season was April 3rd, 2016, typically the 93rd day of the year, but because this year was a leap year, it was the 94th day of the year. When you write out 94, as I have on the screen, it sums to the same thing as World Series. This year, the Cubs won their 94th game in their 147th game of the season. World Series equals 147, 94, 147. They won that game with a walk-off home run by number 47, 47 days before November 2nd, what would have been Game 7 at the time. And I said, watch, 94th win, 147th game by number 47, Miguel Montero, 47 days before Game 7. By the way, the number 7 is the fourth prime. 7 and 4 have a relationship. The word president equals 47, and I've been pointing out all year how it was going to be a tribute to Hillary Clinton. So just think about it. 94th win, 147th game. There's a 47 in it. 47 days before Game 7. Miguel Montero, number 47, he also knocked in the game-winning hit in Game 7. And I talked about it. I said, look for Baez to maybe homer and Miguel Montero to have a big hit. I said that in my Game 7 preview. Both of them happened. When Baez made that error in the first inning, I said to my girlfriend, I said, watch, he's going to hit a home run later this game and redeem himself. It's so bad, Truth Seeker. It's so scripted. With regards to him being 42 right now, 42 is the number of the Freemasons. Freemason 42, Zionism 42. Freemasons pride themselves on being the architects of society. The builders, architect 42, building 42, history 42. His story is a Masonic story. Economics 42, math 42, war 42, big G 42. The last time the Cubs were in the World Series, it was the end of World War II. Donald Trump's been saying Hillary Clinton's going to start World War III if she becomes president. And I think that's truly scripting and foreshadowing. People think it's just him talking nonsense, which in a way it is because that's all he talks. But at the same time, it's these people repeating lines that they've been told to say for scripting to come. The world wars have been scripted just like the baseball games, just like the elections. So that was Theo Epstein. Now let's get on with Bill Murray. Bill Murray. This headline just came out today, November 4th, the same day they had the parade in Chicago. Think about this. World War equals 114 the big way, 42 the small way, just like war the big way is 42. World War is 114, Holocaust is 114, Pearl Harbor is 114. The starting pitcher for the Cubs on Game 7, Pearl Harbor Day birthday, December 7th. This parade for the Cubs World Series comes on November 4th, 11/4, at the end of the 114th Congress. 8 years ago today, Obama elected president. Bill Murray eats at Bonfatos or Fatos, I don't know. Doesn't matter. On same day, Cubs win World Series. This story is just coming out today, the same day as the parade. I want to show you why this is coming out today. It's more mocking. Bonfatos equals 112. This is the 112th World Series. Zionist equals 112. Chicago is the Zionist Mecca. Ram Israel Emanuel, born November 29th, 1959. The 12-year anniversary of the recognizing of Israel as a nation. Bonfato without the S, the name sums to 93. Number we went over big. This is where Bill Murray ate before the World Series. They had Bill Murray at the White House. Look at this, though. Bill Murray's mother. She died November 2nd, 1988. 11/2, 28 years to the day the Cubs would win the World Series. The day she died was a date with 39 numerology. 39 is the number of books in the Old Testament that the Zionist Jews go by. We saw the Cubs player, David Ross. David Ross equals 39. Oldest player to homer in a World Series, 39 years old. It's all a joke. With regards to this woman dying in 88, Curse of the Billy Goat equals 88. William James Murray, the birth name of Bill Murray with the S exception, sums to 88. I'm showing you that on the calculator it equals 79, which is true. The S exception is where you add 9 more. The calculator does not take this into account. It's because S is the 19th letter. 1 plus 9 in numerology is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. What this calculator does is it breaks each letter down to a single digit. S is the only letter you have to break down twice in the 26-letter alphabet. That's why S can be worth 10 or 1. If S is worth 10, William James Murray is 88. There's only one S in the name. Like Curse of the Billy Goat, like the year his mother died. 28 years before the Cubs won the World Series, Bill Murray said he's the biggest Cubs fan. Notice the name Bill Murray in gematria sums to 131, like championship, like Evanston, Illinois. When you write out 57 as a word, it sums to 131, like World Series is 57. Show you something else here. Well, I didn't mean to show you this, but 2 years ago I documented this. Bill Murray had this feature story on CNN on October 25th. The World Series would start 2 years later. Things like that, I just wonder if they're a coincidence. But this is what I meant to show you right here. So Bill Murray, on October 21st, the day before the final game of the National League Championship Series between the Dodgers and the Cubs. The Dodgers last won the World Series in '88. Bill Murray went before the White House press corps and said why the Cubs would win, and this was their year. The day he did that was a date with 47 numerology, special number, connected to President, connected to the Miguel Montero tribute in the Cubs' 94th win. That was September 16th. Murray alone is a name with 33 gematria, stars in the movie Groundhog's Day about the 33rd day of the year, February 2nd. Bill Murray, currently 66 years old. The word curse equals 66. Game 7 went to a tie to the 10th inning, 6-6. I showed how in Week 7 of the NFL, the tie game on Sunday Night Football was a tribute to the World Series with the Arizona Cardinals, who were once the Chicago Cardinals, who now have the longest active drought in sports championships. It was the Chicago Cubs. Now it's the Arizona Cardinals, who are on the 112th meridian, that were originally from Chicago. So Bill Murray on October 21st said the curse of the Billy Goat would be broken, which was set by Billy Sinus. Think about how the curse of the Billy Goat's connected to a man named Billy Sinus. And we had Bill Murray telling us it would be broken. We had Kyle Schwarber come back after fully tearing his ACL 6 months earlier in Arizona on the 112th meridian with his goatee. If you missed my video on his fake ACL tear and his scripted return by the numbers, you got to check it out. But here's Bill Murray, 66 years old, number for curse, number connected to World Series. The day he turned 66 was also a date with 66 numerology this year, as well as a date with 46 numerology. Chicago 46, Chicago Cubs 46. Billy Sinus died on the 46, or Billy Sinus died 46 years to the day the Cubs advanced to the World Series, and he's who said the Cubs would never win another World Series. He died October 22nd, 1970. "46 years to the day." They told you that at the end of Game 7 in the NLCS, mocking you in your face, thinking that you have no idea about gematria and what these numbers really mean and represent. Remember also, this year, Jacob Arrieta. Jacob Arrieta equals 103 like Billy Goat. Cubs won 103 games in the regular season. He threw the first no-hitter. No-hitter equals 46 on the 112th day of the year. Exactly 46 days after his birthday. I put out a video after that happened, and I said, here's more proof the Cubs are going to be in the World Series. I know the fix is in on this one. Bill Murray's full name, the big way, sums to 223, like Curse of the Billy Goat, like We Got Detroit's Goat, the motto from the Curse of the Billy Goat, just like the Synagogue of Satan, just like Kyle Schwarber's full name, who came back with the goatee and had the hit to start off the 10th inning in extra innings. And from game 1 of the World Series, I said, I bet you Kyle Schwarber's huge in the Cubs advancing. And I said, remember, this is going to be a tight series. I expect it to go to game 7. I called everything about this World Series to the T, just like I called everything about the NBA Finals to the T, just like I called everything about the Super Bowl to the T. You know? My predictions are beyond anything anyone has ever done before. And it's not because I'm a psychic. It's because I figured out how it's scripted. I saw from the time I was a young age that pro sports were rigged, that something was wrong in this world. I don't know why other people can't see it. Bill Murray, his date of birth, by the way, date with 99 numerology, connected to Illinois. Date with 45 numerology. Again, Cubs hadn't been in the World Series since 45. Major League, Illinois, Wrigley, Cubs. Even Bears equals 45. There's a reason they chose Bill Murray. Bill Murray's mother. His mother's name, I forgot to mention, sums to 62, just like Cleveland, Ohio. Just like Mason. Just like how March 3rd, 3/3 is the 62nd day of the calendar. Freemasons obsessed with 33. Also, the day Bill Murray went before the White House, October 21st, it was the day that left 71 days left in the year. Been 71 years since the Cubs were in the World Series. I just realized I had a spider on my finger. Freaked me out. Sorry. I was like, what is that? Ah! So anyway, I pointed out how at the time of this, Kyle Hendricks was going to be pitching in Game 7 for the Cubs. He also pitched in Game 7 for the World Series. I didn't notice at the time he had a Pearl Harbor Day birthday. Pearl Harbor Day sums to 144, just like Kyle Hendricks, just like 71, just like 44. It's amazing. So real quick, I'm giving you a lot of information. Here's another nugget to throw at you. This pipeline protest in North Dakota, which got national news attention on September 9th, 9/9. I have no doubt now that it is part of this scripted narrative. 9/9 was 46 days before the start of the World Series, like Chicago. This pipeline goes through Illinois. The native tribe that is protesting, their name is Standing Rock Sioux, which sums to 223. And think about how the Cubs just beat the Indians. Here's a pipeline that benefits Chicago, that's upsetting the natives. What's going on here, Truth Seeker, is the media, they like to create attention for things like this because this is the message. All these people are protesting there, and sadly, in the end, the protest is going to be futile. The natives are going to be disrespected. The pipeline's going to be built, just like it always happens. These same battles, whenever they get the national media attention, the way they always end is with the protest losing and the thing happening. And it pounds home a message. There's nothing you can do about injustice in this world. It's going to happen. And most people don't even care. They just don't care. They don't see it as an injustice. They just see it as something they don't care about. They want to watch a TV show, a movie, play a video game, watch a sports game. Well, anyway, somebody who was following my work pointed out that North Dakota was also established November 2nd, 1889. How about it, Truth Seeker? 11/2. Protest that begins on 9/9, Illinois 99. Cubs and Indians had played each other 18 times, winning 9 apiece. Like I continue to say, professional sports are scripted with current events, with what's in the news, from the election to this native story. This person also wrote in to point out the thing about how first World Series since 1948, where the Indians won, where both teams scored 27 runs apiece. MLB 27, 27 plus 27, 54 for baseball. Number 54 got the win in Game 7. So here's Ben Zobrist. He was made the MVP of this World Series. Last year he won the World Series with the Royals. He recently named his son Zion. Zionist equals 112. It is Zionism that is running pro sports, media, Zionist Jews, Israel. I noticed he was born in the year 81, Chicago, in Jewish gematria equals 81. Look at all this. The Game 7 that he was made MVP after was a date with 49 numerology. Jacob Arrieta wears 49 also. Jacob Arrieta equals 49. I said Jacob Arrieta could possibly be the MVP depending on how well he plays. But Ben Zobrist, 49, just like Jacob Arrieta. Just like Revelation, the book of prophecy, all this scripted according to the prophecy. His full name, Benjamin Thomas Zoprist. Gematria of 91, like Chicago Cubs, like Game 7. The divisors of 91 sum to 112. Pointed that out before the game. From his birthday to the game was 205 days. Israel in Jewish gematria equals 205. Israel is the Zionist state. Zionist 112. This guy just named his child Zion. Had one of the big hits in extra innings, his first hit of Game 7. It's not hard to see what's going on, people. It's not hard to see who this gang has sold out to. Zionist Jews. They control your government, your media, your entertainment. You know, they run Hollywood. It's why they put all this stuff in the movies way before things play out in sports. They make your TV shows. This article came out after the World Series. Parks and Recreation 2 years earlier had an episode where a family's walking through Chicago. It's supposed to be early in 2017. And they're talking about how Chicago's a happier place since the Cubs won the World Series the past summer. The episode is from 2 years ago, set in 2017, and it's about people talking about how the Cubs won the World Series the past year, which would have been 2016. So anyway, I'll link these posts. There's other things I talk about. The name of this episode was Ron and Jammy, Gematria Connections to Chicago. The director of the episode, Gematria of World Series. So, you know, we're just being mocked, Truth Seeker. Before Game 7, this article was printed. Marlins man had to miss the game because they thought his life might be in danger. Just think about it. Why would some regular fan's life be in danger in Cleveland potentially by game's end? That's why they didn't let him play. Maybe because they knew that Cleveland was going to lose. And they might be provoked by a fan who was part of the team that last beat them in the 97 World Series. And one more point on that. This is the 97th season of the NFL. I pointed out in Week 7 how the tie was a tribute to the World Series. Nobody in the world probably saw that. I showed you how it was. 6-6, Curse 66, World Series 66, Chicago Cardinals, Chicago Cubs. The Cardinals were in Chicago the last time the Cubs were in a World Series. Then in Week 8, the first game was a tie between the Redskins and the team from Ohio, like the Cleveland Indians. The tie was 27-27. The kicker missed from 34 yards out to make the game end in a tie. Indians 34. Anyway, I said that is a sign that things aren't good for the Indians. The Cubs come back, very likely. It was the first NFL season this year that there were back-to-back ties in 2 consecutive weeks. Weeks 7 and 8. Cleveland 78, the reflection of 87, like the Game 7 score. The last season back-to-back ties was 97, the year the Indians got eliminated in Game 7. Again, synced up with Hillary's birthday, October 26th. Them calling this guy Marlins man, Gematria of 114. Cubs were also going for their 114th win, which they got, synced up with Theo Epstein, who had the 114 birth numerology. I mean, if you've ever watched pro baseball, I hardly even watch it. Almost any time you turn on a televised game, this guy's standing behind home plate on TV, drinking a beer. Marlins man. Who has this much money to travel? I mean, well, never mind, he's a Jewish guy. A lot of Jewish people do that have never had to work. You know? But, you know, here he is. Jewish guy, traveling the world, primetime games in his bright orange Marlins jersey. Just looking like a doofus. It's all part of the mocking. This is the gang that mocks us, puts it in our face. Florida, land of the Jews. Zionist World Series. So Houston was playing during Game 7, and I saw something very interesting. Houston, again, equals 112. They were playing the Knicks. Hillary has the connections to New York and Illinois, and look at what the Knicks lost with, 99 points. Like Illinois 99? Hillary tribute, perhaps? Hillary's team wins the 112th World Series. The city with the 112 gematria defeats the Knicks with 99 points. Trump also from New York. Call me crazy. The 17-minute rain delay that they kept emphasizing was 17 minutes was just too much. I talked about it before the game. Number 17 for the Cubs, the Rookie of the Year, playing in the 17th state, having the big Game 6. Been talking about 66 in tie games. Tie game equals 33 like Cleveland. When you write out 33, it sums to 66 like curse. Two cursed baseball teams going into the 10th. And let's just talk about how stupid the 10th inning was. The Cubs, they get all these runners on base. They go up 8-6. They got the bases loaded with 1 out. Bases loaded with 1 out. Do you know what the odds are of not scoring a single other run with the score 8-6 with great hitters up at the plate, which was the situation? So low. What did Hayward do as a hitter? You know, taking these horrible cuts. All they needed to do at that point was add runs for extra insurance. What you do as a batter is you choke up on your bat and you get ready to make the base hit. Watching baseball, how often these scripted base hits, how often the base hitter is choked way up on his bat. If you're a baseball player and you know baseball, it's so easy to see through the scripting. You don't strike out with the bases loaded with these horrible cuts. You take conservative cuts. Anyway, strike out to put 2 outs. Then what happened in the bottom of the 10th? You know, the Cubs had these shitty at-bats to leave the score at 8-6. In reality, they should have added on more runs that would have been very easy to do in that situation. Then we go to the bottom of the 10th, and what happens? 2 quick outs. I think maybe both were strikeouts, maybe a strikeout and a ground out. They had this pitcher who was formerly on the Rangers. That's when I started to look at the Bush and think about Theo Epstein at Yale. Anyway, that pitcher gets 2 outs, then what's he do? He throws 4 gutter pitches and puts on a free base runner. So now you have this excitement again. The tying runs at the plate, 8-6. The runner steals second. They don't even try to get him. Look, truth seeker, these are professional athletes. These are managers. No pro athlete could be in the major leagues and throw 4 gutter pitches like that. I don't care how much pressure's on. Good athletes, and there's a lot of us in this nation, especially that can play baseball, we have nerves of steel. That's what makes us good. We like the pressure moments. We don't throw 4 gutter balls with 2 outs. All you have to do at that point as a pitcher, you can even throw batting practice. Let's make them prove it and get a hit in this situation. You don't throw 4 dirt shit pitches to just put a runner on for free. The reason they do that is just to create the false excitement. That's why I hate pro sports. I can't even stand to watch it knowing it's rigged because I'm just thinking, God, people are so fucking retarded to not see through these sports games. It's because people don't have brains and they're not athletes. You're looking at someone who was a very good athlete from a young age and who had a sharp mind from a young age. I realized I was smarter than most of the adults around me by the time I was 7, and I'm not joking. That's when I started to really express myself about how dumb I thought the adults were surrounding me in my life, from my 2nd grade school teacher to the people that lived on my block. Moron land. Also, Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, date with 49 numerology, Revelation 49. So closing up here, somebody sent me this message. They said they were watching TV, watching the parade for the Cubs, and they noticed they had Joe Madden on right at local time, 1:08, hoisting the trophy. You know, they just broke the 108-year drought, the tallest building, 108 stories in the city. Again, with it coming today, November 4th, look at all this. There's a movie coming out about World War II today, right? Hacksaw Ridge. And supposedly the guy who hates Jewish people made the movie. World War II is all about selling the Jewish lies of the Holocaust, which is all propaganda. World War equals 114, Pearl Harbor 114, Holocaust 114. The starting pitcher for Game 7 of the World Series for the Cubs, who won it in their 114th win of the season, was Kyle Hendricks, who has a Pearl Harbor birthday. Kyle Hendricks 144, Pearl Harbor 144. When you write out 71, it sums to 144. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. These are the only 2 numbers that when you write out sum to 144. That's the number for time. The square root of 144 is 12. 12 months in a year, 12 hours in the morning and evening. With regards to war, World War, Pearl Harbor, military, 44, kill, 44. When you write out 44, it sums to 144. Our entire history scripted by the numbers. World War II ended in 45. Last year, Cubs were in the World Series. Major League 45, Wrigley 45, Illinois 45, Cubs 45. Here's something they put on the TV for us. They showed the Cubs' longest streak crossed out. Now next up, the Arizona Cardinals, who again are on the 112th meridian and originally from Chicago. How much longer do the Cardinals have to wait? You know what's interesting? If they won the Super Bowl in Minnesota next year, Super Bowl 52, that would be 71 years. I wonder what the narrative will be. I think the Cardinals would need like some phenomenal new QB. I think Carson Palmer's done for. What's the Cardinals story going to be? It seems like their team's on the decline, but could it happen? Maybe. Maybe. All right, so some closing notes. Addison Russell had that big grand slam, making the Cubs 1 for 7 with the bases loaded in the World Series. His name in gematria sums to 55, like Theo Epstein, like Chicago Cubs. His birthday, January 23rd, 123 is the number for conspiracy, 23/1, where that date's written most parts of the world. Hillary Rodham Clinton equals 231. Remember, the Chicago Bears founder, Papa Bear, his full name equals 231. John Fox came into the game on Monday Night Football with 231 games coached. The Bears upset the Vikings on the 33-year anniversary of the death of Papa Bear. If you missed my video, I said why the Bears would likely win that as a tribute to Papa Bear 33. This man was born on a date, this player, Addison Russell, a date with 137 numerology. That's the 33rd prime number and a very relevant number to the Chicago infield, which we'll get to. Date with 47 numerology, President 47. He has the birthday connecting to Hillary Rodham Clinton, 231. He has birth numerology of 118, the election on November 8th, 11/8. His Grand Slam came 83 days before his upcoming birthday. His 23rd birthday is his upcoming birthday. 83 is the 23rd prime number. How perfect, right? And the World Series win came 82 days before his birthday. Chicago, Illinois equals 82. Both the coach of the Cubs and the Bears, John Madden and Joe Fox, born on February 8th, 8/2, a lot like 82 for Chicago, Illinois. Fox equals 45. Joe Madden's birthday, a span of 99 days from the World Series, Illinois 99. They put up this stat that from the last time the Cubs won the World Series to the day they won it, 39,466 days. 39, we're going to talk about that. 46, Chicago. 66, World Series curse. Isn't that interesting? Revelation, the 66th book of the Bible, based on the 39 books of the Old Testament. Wall Street Journal said the Cubs were the team of the Jews before the World Series. Did a video on that article. I also showed how the ERA for the pitcher in the postseason for the Cubs, Kyle Hendricks, Pearl Harbor Day man, I showed how his ERA was a sign the Cubs would win. World Series equals 57. When you write out 57, it sums to 131, like championship, like Super Bowl, like Bill Murray, like Billy Sionis. I noticed the Cubs infield, their numbers they wear, 17, 27, 9, 44, 40 for Game 7. Their numbers sum to 137. 137 is the 33rd prime. Diamond equals 33. These are the men playing the field positions in the diamond, the infield. Cleveland, the only city that sums to 33. Again, the Cubs have only won 3 World Series now. They've defeated the Tigers, the only name with 33 gematria in Major League, and Cleveland, the only city with 33. Dexter Fowler on the 4th pitch of the game. I know right here it says 3, but as he ran around, they chalked up that it was the 4th pitch. On the 4th pitch, hit a solo home run to start the game. Of course, the Cubs would win the 4th game of the series, winning it 4-3, a lot like 43. Again, the World Series 57 days before Theo Epstein's birthday. When he took his first at bat, Addison Russell, who we talked about with the connections to Hillary Clinton, 231. His batting average was .213. Again, Game 7 came 213 days after starting day of the World Series. 213 is the number for Nimrod, the original Freemason from the Bible. The Game 7 umpires, I bet you if we decode these names, a lot will be revealed here. I've showed how in the NBA Finals and the Super Bowl, the officials, their names gave away a lot. The head official for the Super Bowl was from Omaha, Peyton Manning's favorite word. It's all a joke, Truth Seeker. The end of the first inning, because of the forced error by Baez, which was totally on purpose, the stat line was 1 run, 2 hits, 1 error. Revelation the big way, 121 on the date with 49 numerology. Revelation 49 the small way, 121 the big way. They had LeBron James there shaming him. LeBron James equals 114. Cubs got their 114th win, winning in Game 7 on the road, just like how LeBron James won in the scripted NBA Finals in Game 7 on the road, which I guaranteed he would, on the real King James's birthday. I don't use that word guarantee lightly. It was super scripted for the Cavs. King James's son, that's what Cavaliers are named after. LeBron James, King James, wins the NBA Finals for Cleveland, breaking the city's curse on the real King James's birthday, plus a whole lot more. They went to number 17 right away to talk about the 17-minute rain delay in the 17th state. 17, the reflection of 71. I said Rizzo was going to be big. Rizzo equals 94. Number 44, Obama from Chicago, the 44th president. Here's my favorite, David Ross, 39 years old, that number of the Old Testament, number of the Jews. What's David Ross equal in Gematria, Truth Seeker? Oh, it equals 39. Remember Peyton Manning riding off at age 39? These people make me sick. 39 is that New York number, too. And New York's the baseball mecca. Chicago and New York, the Zionist meccas. Here's Tom Ricketts. Ricketts 33, like Cleveland. 3-3, Game 7 in Cleveland. 2 teams with big C initials. C the third letter, CC 33. Ben Zobrist. Zobrist alone equals 37 and 46 like Chicago. Has a son named Zion. Just like how LeBron James, how his sons were birthed by the numbers. Shows you what's going on. Forced labor, planned pregnancy. It's all rituals. People are born and bred into it. LeBron James, the son of Nate Thurmond, no doubt about it. LeBron scored 27 in Game 7, that MLB number. Nate Thurmond dropped dead 27 days later. The Cavs, it was their 103rd game of the season, where they won Game 7 of the finals. The Cubs won 103 games in the regular season. As the World Series was ending, you know what was ending on TNT? Back to the Future, which talks about the Cubs World Series. TNT equals 54 like baseball. Somebody pointed out to me later that MTV Classic was playing Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I showed how Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Matthew Broderick were synced up with the World Series. By the way, Ferris Bueller's Day Off came out in '86. The Red Sox curse, it lasted 86 years. Theo Epstein, after the top of the 10th inning, his team was up 8-6. You know? Then they won it 8-7. And also, Trusica, I don't know if I'm being mean here or if it just... But honestly, this pitcher that they put up here at the end of the game, who got the first 2 outs and then intentionally walked the third batter to put him on first base, they put up this stat and I said, you got to be kidding me. They point out that he's the 48th round pick. The Indians hadn't won the World Series since '48. He was with the Rangers. The Rangers got that tribute this year. The Rangers were owned by the Bushes, who have the Yale Skull and Bones connections. Theo Epstein, Yale, Skull and Bones, Masonic Synagogue of Satan. But tell me something. You know, I'm saying they're farming these athletes. Jacob Arrieta from Farmington. Does this dude look a little bit like a Billy Goat in the face? Plus, he had the goatee facial hair. I mean, I just looked at this guy and I thought, oh my God, what if they're farming these people even to have a certain fucking look for these rituals? You know, you got Kyle Schwarber with the goatee. You got this closer late in the game with the goatee. And I just kept looking at his face. I was like, man, his face reminds me of a goddamn goat, the shape of it. The name Edwards, Gematria of 38, like Murphy. the name of the GOAT, Curse of the Billy Goat. The Cubs about to become 3-8 in World Series as they did. They were 2-8 before this one. Chicago, Illinois equals 82, the reflection. Joe Madden born 2/8 or 8/2. Michael Wilbon, the Chicago news writer after the game, on ESPN said he had to watch the game again because it was so bizarre and he didn't even have an opinion. He said the game didn't make any sense to him. He said just nothing made sense. The managing, the decisions, the things that happened, the run swings. He said, I just never seen a baseball game like it. It didn't even seem real. Come on, people. You don't think Michael Wilbon knows that sports are all scripted? There's a reason he went out and said it like that. Then they had Bill Murray out there, telling jokes. I know a lot of you like Bill Murray, but now you know. You know something else about this guy. This guy's been living with this. His mother ritually sacrificed for a World Series to come. That's what happens when you become a celebrity. That's what Bob Dylan was telling people. You sign your life away to the chief commander, Bob Dylan's words. The CC, the 33, Freemasonry. You pay attention to what you see on TV. Here was something that was on TV just the other day. Behind Donald Trump, a woman standing there, holding up a sign that said, Blacks for Trump. You know what else I saw recently behind Donald Trump? I saw Gary the Numbers Guy. I'm going to be doing a video on that Gary the Numbers Guy who's been trolling this channel all year, writing everywhere that I'm a fraud, I'm a Zionist Jew, posting all over his Twitter, all over my video channel, all over my blog. I got a video coming for Gary the Numbers Guy who was recently spotted behind Donald Trump. The only people who are standing behind Donald Trump are fucking losers, morons, shills, and paid-for actors. Gary the Numbers Guy, he's at least one of those things. Just a little reminder too, Truth Seeker. Look up this magazine cover. This is the cover of Newsweek from April 3rd, 1967. Had to do about the World Trade Center project. If you get the full picture, which isn't here, on his watch, the hands on the clock are on 9 and 11. The World Trade Centers proposed by him, they would be built in 68. Construction would start August of 68. The same year 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. The same year George W. Bush graduated from Yale in Skull and Bones. 33 years after 68 with 2001, the year Bush became president, the year 9/11 happened. 911, 911, that's the 156th prime number. When you write out 33, just like when you write out February 2nd, it sums to 156. We talked about that earlier with Groundhog's Day. 911's the 156th prime. When you write out 33, it sums to 156. False flag equals 156 in Jewish gematria. False flag equals 33 in Pythagorean gematria. We're living out a planned script. The World Trade Centers opened in 73, the same year Sears Tower did, which is now Willis Tower, connected to this World Series. The Clintons became president the year of the 93 World Trade Center bombing. All these 93 tributes, and Hillary becoming president, or, well, that's true too, but I mean this World Series, which is a tribute to Hillary becoming president, all these 93 tributes in this 2016 World Series won by the Cubs. There's larger riddles here. The Cubs winning this World Series, it's a bad omen for what's to come. A baseball curse was ended. I think a worse curse is coming for this nation that's been part of the longer script. These towers, these sports games, these actors, they're all part of the puzzle. Look up this cover, Newsweek, April 3rd, 1967. Oh, by the way, April 3rd, 93rd day of the year. 93 World Trade Center bombing. First plane to hit on 9/11 hit floors 93 through 99 reportedly. Flight 93 of 33 passengers. David Rockefeller's family member Nelson Rockefeller was the 49th governor of New York that approved the World Trade Center project in 1961. It was funded in 61. Construction started in 68. Oh yeah, one more thing. The construction firm that built the World Trade Centers, Magnuson Klemenkic Associates, their name in gematria sums to 156. Think about that. 911, the 156th prime, 33, 156. The towers lasted from 68 to 2001, 33 years. So anyway, very long video, lots of information. I hope I connected enough dots for you. My spring training wish was for this knowledge to spread so we can put an end to this, the rig sports, the satanic ritual sacrifices. People can't see it. I say those of us who are awake, we go and start our own country. Go find our own island, you know. We don't deserve to have to put up with this. The people who support this, who tolerate it, who think it's okay, you know, they deserve whatever's awful that's coming for them. Those of us who are awake, want to make a better world, who make the sacrifices for that, you know, we don't deserve this torment. That's what this is. Torment. Torment. That's a word with 33 gematria. One not to forget. Until next time, true seekers.